Stories of Dillon Taylor. Dillon Taylor out of Salt Lake City, Utah. 20-year-old man who was killed 2 days after Mike Brown. 2 days. Now, unlike Mike Brown, he did have a rap sheet. I don't know how extensive. Couple things. Nothing crazy. Not an axe murderer. Probably just a young man who was going through some issues. But he was gunned down without a weapon on him. Shot. Broad daylight. Cops say they were responding to a 911 call as him and two of his friends walk out of a 7-Eleven or some type of convenience store. Officer ordered him down. Now, according to what the brother is saying, Dillon had headphones in, so he couldn't really hear the officers. And there were multiple officers, and all of them giving them commands. One said, get on your knees. One saying, put your hands behind your back. The other one shouting something else. And at some point, it appears that Dillon reached in his pocket or he did something. He did something in some way, I don't know, to spook, scare the officer. And the officer shot him twice, from what I understand. I'm not even sure how many times he got shot. I get different explanations of what happened as far as the number of shots. Now, the family, the Taylors, they want justice. And there's been protests in Salt Lake City because they're demanding justice for Dillon. And people are using this as ammunition to say, see, you only worry about black issues. Why is it that the blacks get all this attention? See, one of the problems I have with this is Dillon is Mexican, right? But we make Latinos white or black depending on what we want our media, whatever goals we want to serve, whatever storyline we want it to fit. But that's what they're doing. They're saying, well, he's a white kid and the cop is black. And I asked you to tell you that. Because, everything's about color. So now we got to make Dillon white, the cop is black, and now it's like, see, when a black cop kills a white kid, and then we lose the whole point of the matter, which is Dillon's gone. Shot. Now, they haven't proved or disproved that Dillon had a weapon. They're not answering that yet. His friends say Dillon doesn't have a gun, didn't have a gun. They know him well, he didn't have a gun, but the officers are saying, we're not speaking on that right now. We're doing an internal investigation. It's been almost 2 weeks, right? Well, shit, it has been 2 weeks. This happened on the 11th. That's 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, you're still investigating. You can't let us know if Dillon was armed. Another thing about this case that pisses me off is that the officer, he had a camera on. Yeah, so he has a camera. So this is somewhat of an open, shut case, you would think, right? Because we got a camera. Why not release the information and let people know what happened? Why are we withholding information from families? Now, just because I didn't hear about this story in D.C. doesn't mean they're not talking about it in Utah, because they are. In fact, what they're doing is they're saying we want to end police brutality throughout the country. And no justice for Mike Brown, no justice for Dillon Taylor. But folks, we cannot let ourselves be manipulated into believing that everything's about race, and nor can we let them use race to continually divide us just so they can make more money. I will continue to track this case. It's hard to get information on a story that's only being covered locally. It's not all my fault. You said it. It's not being talked about often. How else would I know unless you tell me? But here's the deal. This is the deal we're going to make. You won't call me a bigot unless you give me the story and I say, go fuck yourself. If I don't say that, then you can't jump to conclusions and make me out to be the bad guy. I'm using my platform to discuss these issues. But it's okay. You needed to know. You don't know about all the stories I've done. You just met me. You don't have time to go through 460 videos and see how many videos I've done of white guys getting killed or Latinos getting killed, or you don't have time for that, and I understand it. And you might not want to take my word for it. But this isn't about me. This is about Dillon Taylor. So let me get back to that. My understanding is that Dillon was expecting a child. Now that child is going to grow up without a father. So let's not let ourselves be sidetracked and forget what we in this for. We're in this to end police brutality in all shapes and sizes and colors. We want to be on the side of the victim. And once again, they're painting Dillon Taylor as a bad guy. Now they're making him seem like he's an arch enemy. Like he's enemy number one, public enemy number one. Like he would Chuck D and Flavor Flav. Like he's Jack the Ripper. When it's not that serious, his record is not that serious. Plus, what does that have to do with that day? Tell me more about this officer. Tell me, first of all, what's the officer's name? I don't even see that posted anywhere. I don't have time to dig for that shit. That should be prevalent. He had a body camera on. Let's release the footage. Was the young man armed or not? That should be something we get immediately. But this is why people get pissed. And I understand it. Now, to my friends like Phil, who pissed me off for a minute, I understand your frustration. You feel like the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons of the world are manipulating the system. Dude, once upon a time, black people got killed all the time. We still do. Twice a week, we getting shot by white cops. You understand? You understand? It's not that, the issue of police brutality is staggeringly a black problem, okay? Because so many more of us go to jail for shit. So let's get that right. But that does not mean that their lives are any better. It's just that we get tired of it. We're tired of it. And we have a history of it. And I don't know so much about your community, sir. But as for me, I'm pissed either way. I'm pissed that a young father was taken away from his child. I'm pissed that a son is taken away from his family. And I could care less what color he is. So you ask the Rush Limbaughs, why is that the only thing they know about Dillon? They don't know shit else about him. They're only talking about him in order to try to get some leverage about the Mike Brown case. You understand? They're using Dillon. Just like you say Jesse is using Mike Brown. You understand? I did this story because I wanted to, because it's important. I want justice for Dillon Taylor as much as I want justice for Mike Brown, as much as I want justice for anyone else killed unnecessarily in this militarized state where these cops think they can just take lives arbitrarily without repercussions. I'll fight for them. Fight with me. Don't fight against me. I'm not the enemy. "20 years old. Damn shame.